Super Bowl party continues. You are looking at Miami Beach, host city of Super Bowl 54. Good Morning Football, presented by Rocket Mortgage. Super Bowl Squares is live in New York on this Wednesday, January 29th. My name's Kay Adams, Nate Burleson.
Oh, yeah. Hey. Let's go.
Peter Schrager, give me a little something. Come on.
Let's go. Come on, Peter.
Hey.
A little bit. It's a Wednesday. It's a Wednesday.
Yeah. Let's go. Feel that buzz? Look at that jacket on Adams.
Look at this. I know.
Let's go.
Swagger Claus, Nate Burleson hooked us all up.
Thank you, Nate.
Who hooked us up?
Starter sent us some.
Oh,
Love
no
it.
kidding. All right.
I'm wearing this all day.
It looks awesome.
All day today. Very excited. Big show.
Big show. Big show. Super Bowl week is in full gear. We're going to go live to Miami this morning. Andy Reid, AFC champion Chiefs. Guys, they're going to be at the podium. Big Red stepping up, holding courts, talking to anybody you want to know. Hour here in the Good Morning Football. Less than an hour, we will be there. Plus, Nate over there in a purple floral shirt. He's going to break down two beasts in the defensive backfield. Both superstars. So Sherman, Honey Badger, Nate, you got the goods on them?
Oh, I got the goods.
You got the goods?
The only way I can.
What makes them so different? We'll find out. And remember this play? Which play am I talking about? Oh, Riggo! Oh, look out. How about the angriest runs in Super Bowl history? Otis Anderson, anybody? This is really good. I'm not over-promising. Adams, you're going to love
I'm here for O.J. Anderson.
Hey, now. We're going to Miami after the show today. We'll be there live on Thursday and Friday. We got some good guests, too,
Yes,
guys.
That's right.
Who we got coming on?
We got Cam Jordan coming on. Christian McCaffrey. I'm hearing Mr. Kirk Cousins might hang with us a little bit.
And I feel the need for speed. That Top Gun movie's coming on. Everybody is coming by. Miles Teller. Hello.
Miles Teller.
Jazz drummer. Let's go.
Flying in on some spaceship sort of thing.
Yes, that's
we'll
right.
Get to all of that right here on the show. It's time for the lead block.
Lead block.
James Palmer is coming to us from the Chiefs Team Hotel. Omar Ruiz is at the James L. Knight Center in downtown Miami. Good Morning Football and happy Wednesday to you both. James, you seem to have the special ability to get headline-grabbing interviews with Chiefs defensive end Frank Clark. Tell us what he said to you about the Niners defense yesterday. Kick us off.
Yeah, Kay, Frank and I have been on a bit of a roll here. It started before the AFC Championship game with him showing some shade over at Derrick Henry, and then after the AFC Championship game. But yesterday, when I talked to him, he was doing his best Rodney Dangerfield impersonation, saying he doesn't think he gets any respect for being one of the best pass rushers in the world. He said, what do I have to do? Do I have to win a Super Bowl, 2 Super Bowls, a defensive MVP, maybe an MVP? He said all of those things, but at the same time, maybe he said the best time to get respect would be during Super Bowl week. And he said the reason why he's one of the best pass rushers is because of his study habits. He said he already knows the 49ers inside and out, and that's why he wins his one-on-ones. That's why he wins on third down. But he also has a lot of respect for the 49ers defensive line, who a couple of those guys he's pretty good friends with.
I've been rooting for them to break out into this, you know, like you said, to this best defensive line, you know, tag for the last few years, honestly. Like you said, I got a lot of guys over there, DeForest Buckner, you know, Sagnina, I got, you know, Eric Armstead. I'm not really too fond of D Ford, but I got, like I said, man, it's like the whole defensive line, I know them very well. I want them to do well, but just not this Sunday. You know what I mean? I want them to continue balling, but just not this Sunday. You know, wait till next season.
Well, that's not the only time we've heard Frank Clark throw a little shade towards D Ford. And he also told me that he is almost guaranteeing a win on Sunday. We had an epic interview after the AFC Championship game, and he said, I will be talking to you on the field after the game on Sunday. Now, look for the 49ers. Let's go to Omar Ruiz.
Hey, James. Well, none of those comments really resonated with the 49ers, but I think when we ask some of those players, they'll have a little chuckle with that a little later today. Some of the other comments that Frank Clark made is that they've never seen a pass rusher like him before, and I think the humorous part of those comments is that they played in the same division the past 4 seasons. Was Frank Clark was with the Seahawks, so they've seen each other 8 times over the years during the first 4 years of Frank Clark's career. Now, Joe Staley told me that Frank Clark has always been one of those players that they've respected as one of the top pass rushers in the league, somebody they've had to revolve their game plan around. He plays with such intensity, and you match that with his talent, certainly a difficult matchup to go against. Now, Frank Clark's Seahawks teams were 7-1 against the 49ers during his time there, but he only had 3.5 sacks, so they did a pretty good job corralling him in that regard. As for D Ford, playing against his old team in Kansas City, he told me it won't be unlike going against them in training camp, going intense all practice long, and then that brotherhood afterwards. Obviously, Kay, a whole lot different stakes going in the Super Bowl versus a training camp practice, but certainly a story to watch on Sunday as well.
And I'm excited to hear from these players. Coach Andy Reid has his press conference. He has availability this morning there in Miami. I'm sure you two will be standing by for that. We're going to bring that to you live here on NFL Network during our show on GMFB. Patrick Mahomes as well. Lots to talk about here on a Wednesday ahead of Super Bowl 54. Thank you so much to Omar and James. Frank Clark, what a soundbite. Soundbite after soundbite after him. You said this was the matchup to watch in the Super Bowl.
Frank Clark versus George Kittle is my favorite matchup. Reid versus Shanahan is going to be awesome. Tyreek versus Sherman is worth the price of admission. But Clark and Kittle are two maniacs, and it's going to be a test of their manhood. Like, it's going to be head-to-head the whole game. I also don't think this is the last time we're going to hear from Frank Clark this week. I remember Super Bowl 40, Super Bowls past. Joey Porter of the Steelers at the end of the week came out and had this tirade against Seahawks tight end Jeremy Stevens and said, I got my Huckleberry, and now I know my Huckleberry. And they went to Bill Cowher and they said, Bill, how about this thing that Joey said? He's like, look, I can't believe it took Joey this long. It's Friday. I think this was a win for me. And I just look at Frank Clark. George Kittle is a great story and a great player. He's a lot. It's the pro wrestling thing is a lot. The antics are a lot. The whole screaming, run the ball is a lot, especially if you're the guy going against him. And I happen to know that Frank Clark, who's the most outspoken guy in this game, is simmering right now. I mean, he's sitting there waiting for the game, simmering. How do I know that he's simmering? There's his tweet yesterday. Simmering. And then everyone says, Frank, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And so he replies, the next tweet, this is yesterday. Y'all playing with fire, that's all I'm going to say. And then James Palmer starts our show saying he's just short of guaranteeing a win over in the Super Bowl.
Almost.
So this is the guy. He and Kittle is American Gladiators. It's my #1 matchup.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. The guy that I'm paying attention to, and I'll do a bro lesson a little later on, is Tyrann Mathieu. And, you know, he's an individual that is as versatile as anybody in the game. You know, when he first left the college football field, we thought to ourselves, he's going to be a guy that gives us a variety of skills. He can be a returner. He can play inside, outside, safety, cornerback, even line up in the box. And then there was a moment where he was banged up, playing injured. And I was always told, never judge a guy while he's injured. And now seems like he's healthy. He's more mature. You know, if Andy Reid is Big Red, I would say that Tyrann Mathieu is a red blend because he goes with everything. And you can sit there and see him age like fine wine.
Great legs.
I guarantee, great legs on him. He just dances in the end zone, not the tongue, Kyle. But he'll see him guarding everybody from Emmanuel Sanders, Debo, Kittle at the tight end position, and whoever the running back is.
Yeah.
Watch how Tyrann Mathieu is all over the place.
He says he's not fond of D Ford. Like, what is that? You're not fond of D Ford? Well, D Ford says it's not just me. It's me and my 4 buddies. And you know what they're going up against.
Hey.
Frank Clark needs to maybe check who this defensive line is and what they've done. This isn't just your run-of-the-mill defense. This is one of the best defensive lines this sport has ever seen. And they're all blossoming at the same time, and they are all first-round picks. D Ford was an acquisition they made, the 49ers, that they feel got them to the next level. They went from being a 4-12 team last year. They add D Ford and they add Quan Alexander on that defense, and suddenly they're #1 pass defense in the entire league.
Look out.
Mahomes has been sitting pretty, and Mahomes is pretty darn talented. But he might be in for a rude awakening. I've covered a lot of Super Bowls, and these defensive lines, they tend to show up. So Frank Clark, he could be simmering all he wants. He's talking smack on 5 guys who are simmering at the same time, and that pot is about to boil and about to boil over.
Well, Shrey.
Let's go.
Peter on a travel day is a little ornery.
Hey,
I like it.
I'm saying, Frank Clark, the Chiefs, the mighty Chiefs defensive line. No, it's the 49ers defensive line who should be simmering.
Frank's watching right now.
Don't tell him to check his carry-on.
No,
Don't
he
tell
just
him that.
platinum status. Peter's simmering.
Don't tell me you're out of Peachos and Toblerone bars. Don't you tell me that. More Good Morning Football on the way. It's been a while since Chiefs fans have won it all. Hey, Shregs, you're all fired up.
My guy.
We're going to test your knowledge in a game. We're going to test our knowledge?
Oh, yeah. You're going to go Hank Slam on you guys.
Not allowed to say matriculate in the whole
We are going to matriculate a ton.
It's a fun drinking game. And we'll tell you the story of a young Steeler who's following in the footsteps of a Super Bowl champion.
Break it down from the top for another win. Pick it up again, pick it up again. Break it down.
Good Morning Football is presented by Rocket Mortgage Super Bowl Square Sweepstakes. See rules and enter for free at Rocket Mortgage.